2, 1. We are live, everybody. Welcome to Habanos Saturday as we wait for Princess like we always do. You're stuck with Rizza and I for a little bit. And Rizza, before we start, wants everybody to know that he's wearing vintage, and I repeat, vintage Johnny Versace. You young kids don't know who Johnny Versace is. He was a world famous designer that somebody wiped down in Miami one day. Just came up and went bang, bang, and that was it.
Bang, bang. I shot you down. Bang, bang.
I know, right? But that was Johnny Versace.
Yeah. No. I was just, I have to go through the wardrobe from time to time, and I pull out stuff I don't wear anymore, right? So I thought, what better place not to wear it than on this show?
Well, because nobody watches, so that's why you want to wear it on the show. I totally understand that.
No, this shirt, I'm proud to say this shirt is 27 plus years old. Now,
wow, you're not even 27 years old.
Whilst it looks the same age as I do, right? What I'm happy is I've been pulling out stuff recently from my sort of like post-university days, which are sort of like 18, 15, whatever, right? Yeah.
Sure.
And I think, hey, that's quite interesting. I didn't remember I had this, right? And the cool thing is all the kids are running around wearing, these stupid Versace glasses. I mean, even I'm wearing stupid Versace glasses, right? But these are the cool ones.
Right.
Yeah? But the old stuff from Gianni Versace and, especially Giorgio Armani died this year, right? It's sort of like this kind of thing going on. Like, how much revival stuff can you pull out, which no one else has access to? It is what it is.
I agree. So, the cigar analyst, better known as Ali, says, "How we doing? We're doing great this morning, Ali. Everything is wonderful. Welcome to the show." There you go. Ali now is my new best friend on Instagram. He texts me private messages. So just it's touching, and I cry all the time. But anyway, Usman will be here. Today's topic, boys and girls, is going to be sex, drugs, and rock and roll, 8 balls and hookers, especially the Asian ones. I'm kidding about the 8 balls. Anyway, we're going to talk about sex in the cigar industry today, and social media. Well, and then we're going to talk about some of our favorite cigars.
It amounts to the same thing, and the problem is you've just said the trigger words, and because you said the trigger words, I'm quite likely to go off on one now, right?
Please.
But then Usman will join 15 minutes later and say, you started the show without me. Again.
Well, here's the funny thing about Princess. He, she, whatever, knows that we start the show 15 to 20 minutes earlier than the top of the hour. So technically, we're always on time. He is always late. It's the hair and makeup.
Well, listen, that's the advantage of having a loosey-goosey kind of show. There's no real format other than we get together to smoke.
That's right.
I've noticed this in cigar lounges as well. Yeah. Not cigar lounges, cigar sampling lounges. Let's say you're meeting up with 3 or 4 buddies, okay?
Right.
Because it's a cigar sampling lounge, people don't care if they turn up on time or not, because they kind of assume that you'd just be sitting there smoking a cigar. And they'll turn up when they want to turn up. It's this kind of implied, this implied reduction of importance of time, which is kind of a good thing and it's a bad thing in the sense, like, if you're smoking a cigar, time kind of vanishes for an hour and a half or 2 hours. But
that's very true.
So I think Usman feels a little bit the same, perhaps not necessarily actively, just feels he could just join in. And we feel we could just join in, and anyone who wants to join in, can just join in. Whoever's watching.
And let me just do this though. I'm going to do something amazing for the fans. Fans have been asking for.
You're not going to strip, are you?
Well, that's a different show. That's on my OnlyFans page called evensteven.strip. Anyway, what we're going to do is David, which some of you have met and not met. I think he showed up once or twice on this show. Has done this. In the upper left-hand corner of your screen, you will notice a QR code.
And I can't see any QR code. I can't see it on the big screen.
I see the QR code. That QR code,
there you go, with a duck in the middle.
I got it. If you copy that QR code, you can now go to our merch page, and you could buy merchandise.
That's very cool. Actually, that's very cool. And I'll tell you why that's very cool, because I'm sure that 1 or 2 of our regular viewers, and there's only 1 or 2 of them, will... take great notes about this. I mean, I know I always give a shout out to this person primarily because they're very generous with their time. and they watch pretty regularly, and that's Mr. AJ Patel. Now, I imagine Mr. AJ Patel is running around his Teddington shop with his earphones on, listening to this, right? So
that's right. So we have to give
my
shout out
regards
to
you.
AJ, because
But
if we
you
don't,
could
we'll hear
take a
about it.
little minor lesson from this one. If you put the QR code in the top left-hand corner of all your number 6 Cavendish videos, Mr. Patel,
There you go.
people could scan that and go straight to your website where they can purchase cigars.
Whoa.
Now, that's
And
not
hey,
just for Mr. Patel. That could be
that's
for
for
any
everybody.
cigar merchant watching.
Now, first of all, let me just say this about that, if I may. Because we've given you this idea, we only get a 10%.
There is no charge.
Thank you so much.
There's no charge.
No, there's 10%. I'm Jew. We have to charge. We don't do free. I'm sorry. You know, we love them.
Not free. Not free. Not free. Free.
Free. It's like Jackie Mason. It's like a Jackie Mason. There's a bad.
I almost watched Fiddler on the Roof 2 nights ago. I saw it come up. I thought, should I watch this?
You should.
It's one of those movies I've always wanted to watch.
I've seen the show.
Never actually pressed the button to watch.
When I was a child, and this is going back many years,
we're talking a few centuries.
I saw it on Broadway, and it was beauty. And my favorite part is If I Was a Rich Man. And
if I was a rich,
sorry to all the non-Jews out there. The 2 crazy guys are going. Anyway, so there's the QR code. We're going to take it back and bring it back later. But yeah, if you want to buy merchandise,
quite nice. I'll be honest with you. On the big screen, it looks really nice. It's sort of like
now. Let me just say this.
I'll
tell you something else that's fascinating. There's a sweater that's called The Creation of Steve, which was done on Rusty's art show, and I've worn that sweater. But the other day, somebody purchased 6 of them. So,
really?
Yeah, they purchased 6 of the Creation of Steve sweaters.
6 less that exist on this planet, that means.
And there's only 250 in total, less that we've already sold. I think we're down to like 249. But anyway, the funny part about it is they're going to be using it for their ugly sweater contest. So, kids, if you want to support the show, feel free. And if there's something we don't have that you want, let us know. David will get it made. Except cigars. We're not going to have our own brand of cigars. We're not doing humidors, but clothing wise, I think we have sneakers and some other stuff. I mean, like David's gone all out here. So there you go. That's the plug.
I can't wait to get my hands on the merchandise.
Huh?
I can't wait to get my hands on the merchandise.
There we go. And
I'm somehow part of this show as well. Actually, I wouldn't mind wearing one of those sweaters on a future broadcast.
What, the Creation of Steve?
Well,
there you go. You can order one, like I did. I had to order one when I bought mine. I ordered it. I go, David, what's my? I'm one of the co-founders.
I've been meaning to say this to you, Stephen. You know that thing you got from YouTube, the platinum
plaque that David's got? Yeah, I gave it to him.
Is there any way, because for the benefit of the cigar audience who don't quite understand necessarily how small or big this show is, the fucking plaque behind you will kind of like say it without saying it, if you know what I mean?
Right. So if you watch No Snobs or Knobs, or we did Lost Dollar Business Club yesterday, a holiday show, behind David is the 100,000 silver plaque. So yes, I gave it to him.
Is there no way to have a copy, or?
I'm sure there is, but my ego isn't that big. And when we started the channel, David's first comment to me was, I need that plaque. So the minute we hit 100,000, they sent me the plaque. I think on the Two Old Farts Instagram channel, there was us unboxing.
Can we get David to come on the show right now just to show the plaque and then go away?
Let me see if David's around. If he is, sure.
So that the viewers can see that this show has a plaque for 100,000.
Let's just see if he's around.
100 million subscribers.
100 million viewers. We're more than Mr. Beats. So let me just see if he's around. I just sent him a text, asked him if he's around. He is around. But
because then you'll be the only cigar show that has that. I don't believe any other cigar show has that.
No, we do have the 100. The channel.
We're kind of like under the radar.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I think we get away with saying what we want to say is because, quite frankly, we don't care.
Yeah.
And that seems to be an infectiously attractive way of proceeding. The fact that we just really don't care. I mean, we're kind of nice to some people from some time.
Yeah, that's true.
If they come on the show for the first time, but really couldn't care less.
That's true. And let me just say, the cigar analyst says if there was Habanos Saturday merch, I would purchase that.
I think you just need to do. I just think you need.
I think you need to stop talking about it and open up your wallet.
Says Habanos Saturday merch.
We have it. We have a T-shirt that says Habanos Saturday, and it has all our pictures on it. So it's there in the merch page if you want to buy
pictures on it. Seriously.
Yeah. Oh yeah. David's taken it and put our pictures on it. Without
Please
our
don't.
permission.
Please don't. That sounds like a terrible idea. I think it's should just say Habanos
Yeah.
Saturday merch.
All right, I'm going to tell them to change the
For
t-shirt.
you lifestyle smokers out there.
Yeah. There you go. It's right there in the corner.
I think some of the people watching this, think that they actually know what I'm talking about. These are not private jokes. These are openly private jokes.
That's true. They're openly private. Just
private.
like in the army. So anyway, today's going to be a fun show. We're going to talk about sex and the cigar industry.
Today has been a fun show. Thank you very much.
That's true. It is. It's a fun show. And by the way, a shout out to Yoris. Yoris was going to be on the show today and talk about.
Yours, is it? It's Urs.
Listen, his middle name is Steven. I'm going to go with that. Anyway, he was going to be on the show today, but he fell a little ill. And so he will be next Saturday, and he sent me some screenshots of what he's going to.
That sounds remarkably suspicious. That sounds more like he's been sent 15 text messages by various people saying, go on that show, it's career suicide.
Right, same thing. Anyway, he fell a little ill, and he'll be here next week. And he showed me some screenshots of what he's going to talk about and how you preserve your cigars. And let me tell you, this is like Cigar 101 all the way to PhD level. I think next week's show, for the people that are into collecting or starting to collect or want to know how to keep their cigars perfect, this is the show for you. And I'm very excited about it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But shout out to him. Hopefully the big guy will be feeling better.
Yeah. All right, here's to good health, and here's to smoking
lots of cigars.
Good cigars, albeit the fact that I think as a roundup to the year, I'm coming to a conclusion that's quite dangerous.
Which is?
Well, it's dangerous, so I have to think. Actually, I have to engage the brain before I.
We don't have that kind of time, but go ahead.
But we are talking about a humongously oversold industry. Humongously oversold.
Right. Well, I'm going to try the year of the horse today, so that's an oversold product.
Yeah. It apparently, as a characteristic of the year of the horse, it smells like manure.
Nice. Can't wait to try it.
No, you think that's a joke? You think that's a joke? That's not a joke. Is if you hold a cigar up. Yeah. Because they say, I heard this somewhere at some stage, and in my mind, maybe I had the Jedi mind trick done on me, but actually it makes a little bit of sense. When you open up a nice cabinet of Cuban cigars, you take them out of the wooden box. So there's a cab of 25 or whatever, and you deeply inhale, like when you open a coffee pot for the first time, right? You take the seal off, you get this intense burst of coffee. And with Cuban cigars, I mean, really, really, like I would imagine the best ones. If we could be subjective and objective at the same time, right? Yeah.
Sure.
There is that deep, fruity, farmyardy, manure-y kind of smell. And someone said this is because horse manure is used as fertilizer out there. Yeah. Now, how that translates from seed all the way down through to the cigar after that whole period of ripening the leaves and drying them, etc., I don't know. But there is that aroma. I remember this quite well, actually. Once again, reference to Mr. AJ Patel. This was beginning of last year. The Bolivar Regentes was released in the UK. That's my recollection. It was the beginning of last year. Who's messaging me? Usman is messaging me. And I remember AJ Patel's description of the Bolivar Regentes, that it had that kind of fruity, farmyardy, that kind of sort of earthy, very, very earthy smell to it. And that's a good characteristic of Cubans. Fucking hell, there's no end of messages this morning. I emailed those, text Usman for you and just said, chop, join the show, princess. We don't have all day. He's almost out of hair and makeup. It's tough when you're a 12-year-old boy and you got to put the wig on and the beard, stuff the pillow in there. It's the whole thing. I don't know you. Oh, you look gorgeous. You can't do that with hair and makeup. Johnny Versace.
Johnny Versace, yes. Johnny Versace vintage. Yes. Anyway, today I'm going to try.
Johnny Versace vintage. It is Johnny Versace, but now to all these young Instagrammers,
the young kids, it's vintage. Yeah,
this is vintage stuff, right? Okay, but it's not particularly vintage. I always thought vintage was 50 years plus. Antique was 100 years plus. But in cigar terms, vintage is now even 10 years plus.
I was just going to say, vintage is like yesterday. Vintage is
vintage
yesterday.
is a branding word, a bit like artisan.
Yeah.
I mean, there was this phase where everyone was making artisan coffee, artisan this, artisan that, right? Yeah, these are just fashionable words to use. They're really good words for marketing teams to use because it's all about the upsell. It's all about lifestyle, luxury, artisan product, bespoke product, handmade product. And basically, what you're doing is you're just recycling the same fucking leaves again and again, year after year, and putting different colored bands on them, and putting better bands on them, better boxes, and saying, "Oh, this is the collector's edition."
But
Fuck you. You
is
know
it?
what?
Is it?
Fuck you.
You have
The
it off
only
screen now?
cigar company, the
Here we
only
go.
mark of quality I believe in is EMS, which is the English Market Selection provided by Hunters and Francow in the
And
UK.
thank you for that sponsorship. Anyway,
Well, it's not really. It's the truth.
No, it's not. Stop it. I can go buy the same friggin' Cuban cigar in Cuba, and it's
No,
just yes.
I think you're doing that a disservice. I think
Am I?
the British importer that's been importing cigars
Here it comes.
for at least 232 years, it may be
Okay.
235 years, I think actually, but
Sure.
230 years. That distinguished mark of quality, EMS,
Here it
that
comes.
ability to well, not as of late, but historically, the ability to have first right of refusal on cigars from Cuba,
Sure.
the ability to have such accomplished members of their team that can vet these cigars for quality and can channel the English cigar smoking community in the right direction. I think it's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. No words. There's not enough good words to say about them.
Great. While you're sucking up the Hunters and Franco, here
I'm
comes
not sucking up. It's
Princess.
called reality. I could
I
slag
understand.
anyone off. I could slag them off as well. I
Princess
know
is
because
on
they're
as well.
actually quite good.
I
It's like
know. I'm
slagging
just
off Ferrari. You wouldn't slag off a Ferrari, would you? A Ferrari is a mark of quality, and
there.
therefore Hunters and Franco is a mark of quality.
Yeah. Listen, hold on. Let me just check.
Maserati
Oh,
used
wait,
to
the
be a mark
check.
of
The
quality.
wire cleared. We're good. Hunters and Frank, we love. If you don't get the stamp of approval for the EGM, MOUSC, whatever he was just talking about, all the
EGM,
Cuban
no,
cigars suck.
EMS, which is the English
Whatever.
market selection.
Close enough.
If that is on a box,
Yeah.
I will buy it. And if it's
Oh,
not on a
well, God
box,
forbid.
I will just go.
All right. Can we bring in the real cigar aficionado now?
I'm here. Here we are.
I know. Can I bring in the other one?
Why don't you bring in the whole bunch of new ones? Yeah, the new ones on social that didn't.
That's what we're going to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, direct from hair and makeup. It's the Usman. And before we start the show, let's do this so we don't get in trouble with the legal department.
This is 2OF Entertainment.
Welcome to Habanos Saturday, the fastest growing cigar show on YouTube with over 100,000 subscribers. Come join us every Saturday live. Every Saturday live.
And here we are. And just to let Usman know, because I'm going to take it off the screen because he probably is not noticing because he's not paying attention. Ladies and gentlemen, there's merch for the show. So if you are a big fan of the show and you don't feel like donating money like some people do, you can do the next best thing and you can buy merch. If you look at the QR code in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, you can buy the merch. T-shirts, from sneakers to even a bobblehead of Usman. So what else could you possibly want? No, we can make one though. Anyway, there you go. Anyway, welcome to the show. Princess is here. The show is officially started. I know. I think it's an AI one. I think it's the AI princess we made. I may not even be the real princess. Princess, are you with us today? The fans want to know.
Usman is in technical mode. He is trying.
Yes, he is. He's trying to figure out how to get his Instagram.
I can see. What I'm doing is I'm looking at Usman's glasses and the reflection thereof.
I know.
And seeing what it is he's typing.
And the cigar analyst says Usman looks extra serious today. Yes, because we've already been chastised for an hour on everything we're not allowed to say.
The reason why Usman looks extra serious today. Hang on, can I get a word in?
Hello,
Usman looks extra
everyone.
serious today. Yeah? Usman looks extra serious because with each passing day, Usman is going to wizard level on cigars, right? He's going to turn into the Gandalf of cigars, right? The beard is going to go white. The magic hat is going to appear. And Usman is... I can see the level of expertise increasing in real time with the seriousness with Usman delivers himself on this program. I think he said enough words. Usman, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for being on the show. Hey, see you next week. Anyway, Usman, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, finally you decided to let me speak. Thank
No,
you.
that was it.
You
That was it.
constantly
You're done.
Very
frustrated.
much so of you.
Yeah, well, that was it.
Hello,
You've had
hello,
your
and
30
good morning.
seconds. Calm down.
No, I was on time.
You are.
I'm liking the fact that Steven is getting a tech wizard these days. Every single week I am joining in and there is a new thing going on. Last week it was this portrait mode which was there on the screen so it works right on people's phones. And
Right.
today I see there's a QR code. I
Yeah.
don't know what that shit is for, but
I just
No,
told
that's
you
the
what it was
merchandise,
for.
Usman.
That's the
This
merch
is actually, you know
for the
what? It's
show.
very, very cool. It's very cool, and I would recommend this to other people who have cigar YouTube or whatever. Yeah, if you have that merch code, anyone at any time can just scan on it and
Yeah.
order a T-shirt that says Habanos Saturday Weekly or whatever.
Yeah, we have
Merch.
David has made merch with our faces on it, with or without our permission. He's got
really?
sneakers with cigars on them. He's got the creation of Steven sweatshirt, which you can get, which somebody ordered 6 of. So somebody was drinking heavily.
Something is
You know
going
how-
on.
Something's, yeah. So you know how fans like to donate to the show once in a while during the live show, they throw a
Right.
few shekels at us, which is very nice. David figured we'd put the merch up. And so now not only can they just give money to us, they can now give and wear us every day when they're out. And then they would send us pictures and we'll put them on Instagram. I figure
Can you actually do you actually know that this QR code
yeah.
takes you to the merch page
I
or
just
no?
kind of said that, but yeah, thanks for
No, it's
sharing.
not. It's not. There's a reason. There's a lifetime feedback for David and you both. It is taking us to the 2OF page
You go
for
to the up,
donation.
if you
For
stop,
donation. No.
if you go to the
So
upper left corner, there's 3 little bars on your phone. You click it, it'll say Habanos Saturday, and all the merch will come out.
no, it doesn't say Habanos Saturday.
It
There's a
does.
correction needed.
It says cigars. All right, listen, I did this the other day.
Are you saying that David's pulled a fast one on you, Stephen?
He
Instead of
probably
connecting,
has because I don't pay
instead of
attention.
It is
instead of
written
connecting
as
you, I think Usman
Habanos
could be
Hold
right.
on,
Cigar
hold
Show.
on,
It
hold
says
Usman
on.
is right.
Habanos Cigar
Instead,
Show.
so what
Yeah,
David is
click that, and
using,
here's the
David
merch.
is using the Habanos Saturday show to market all the merch to the other shows, right?
Of course.
We want it to go directly to the Habanos Saturday merch.
If you hit show merch, and then you hit Habanos Saturday,
Usman, let's see
it's
that.
right there.
Usman, show
Look,
me.
here's the Habano. Look, there it is.
This is not Habanos Saturday. It says Habanos Cigar Show.
Whatever,
David,
it's close enough. I'll have him change it. God forbid. David, if you're watching, change
What the
this
fuck am
because
I doing on
Usman,
there?
aka Princess, is having a heart attack. Anyway,
Yeah.
look, there's cigar mugs. There's
there's well,
sneakers.
we need to give David a wake up call, telling
Okay, you
him
get a call.
that the names of the show has moved from Habanos Cigars Dinner and Drink Show to
Yeah.
Habanos Saturday, like
That
almost.
happened like a year ago.
Yeah, like a year ago. I'll let David know he needs to change the name.
I
Okay.
think here's another good merch idea, right?
Yeah.
Plain black t-shirts with the face of our cigar heroes on them, like a whole range. So one with just AJ Patel in the middle, one with for Usman Jassim in the middle, one for you, Stephen, with Amy in the middle.
All right,
Oh,
but
Just the cigar
yeah.
heroes.
enough
Okay,
of you both.
calm down.
Enough of you both. Calm down, okay? This is a cigar show. Stephen, I am gonna walk out of this show in protest if Raza does not stop this crap what he's doing right now.
He's wearing
Right,
a
just
Versace
because
shirt.
one of your guests complained.
No, it's not about one of my guests complaint. It's about the decor of the show. Cigarettes, I'm sorry, that's
Decor
not
of the
okay.
show. Are you feeling okay? Are you on the right show? Decor on this
Yes,
show.
of course.
Are you feeling okay, Decor? This is my
It's
friends
a
getting
cigar-
together to have a
it's a
smoke. I wonder
cigar-
what show you're on.
It's a cigar show.
Yes, it is a cigar show. I mean, I do agree with him on that point. You really
And
should
this
be
is
smoking.
a cigar.
No, this is shit. This is shit.
Cigar
Raza,
X.
you have. I am actually
Cigar
walking
X.
out of the show. I am actually walking out of the show.
Go for it, man.
No, stop it.
Go for it. See you
that's
next week.
Oh my God.
See you next week.
Oh,
This show
stop
happened
it.
before. There you
Oh
go.
my God. Oh my God.
And that's the way it is. And that's the way it is.
God.
That's the way it is.
Like, children. Well, the good thing
Now,
is,
actually, the show can actually start now.
okay, we already started. We ran the credits.
And the thing is this, we were going to talk about, or I had suggested we talk about something that I don't believe. There's a lot of things that are quantitatively missing in the cigar industry, facts and figures, numbers, right? In my mind, at the least, I'm not that much plugged into it, right? But sort of like world sales volumes to certain markets, etc., etc. And as someone who's here on social media with you, I'm wondering what tangible effects social media actually have on the cigar smoking scene. Do social media influencers or social media or YouTubers, whoever they may be, are they helping to promote the industry or not help promote the industry? And if they are, by how much? I would be very interested to know if all of these people went, how the industry would fare.
I think to an extent it does, because I know sometimes when you speak about cigars, certain ones sell out in London. So yes, I think certain social media people, not people smoking cigarettes though, people that smoke cigars, I think those do that. I think the people that smoke, that the fans trust or have, I wouldn't call them influencers, that the people trust and they're like, these are the people. I think, yes, those people, I think can move a market. I think a lot of people don't know who half the people are, and it doesn't move anything. Our show, to your point earlier, with 100,000 people plus that watch it or listen to it between podcasting and the show, I think we do move the market. But we don't run around telling the world we do.
But there is no quantitative analysis of that, right?
Well, I guess there is in a way because
no, honestly, on a very serious note, I wonder how many. So, for example, these basic figures, right? This kind of basic figures things came up when we were talking about the Save the Cigars movement maybe 4 months ago. All right. And in the Save the Cigars movement, my recollection is I asked a few questions that I think other people think about, but I just had the platform to ask. And I said, listen, how many cigar smokers at any one time are there smoking on average in the UK in sampling lounges? Right?
Right.
It's a reasonable question. It gives you a bit of a slice on how big or small the industry is, right? So, for example, how many cigar lounges or sampling lounges are there in the UK? Just let's figure on the UK. And at any one time, on average, in one day, how many are smoking in there? I don't know the answer. I think the answer could be somewhere between 2,000, 2,500. I would say that. Something like that. That's a guess, right? So these are guesses. And so that leads me to carry on thinking about, well, hang on, we do all this social media and we do it out of our own interest. It's like a hobby. It's like people who watch football teams have their own sort of YouTube channels that analyze football teams. There are people who play, online games and they do huge YouTube channels about. There's one I was watching yesterday. There's a guy who analyzes a very, very big game in the online gaming community called Red Dead Redemption 2. And every video he puts up gets more than 2.5 million views, right?
Right. Okay. Well, he's a real influencer.
He's a real influencer. So when it comes down to numbers, facts, numbers and statistics, I wonder how much real selling influence social media has for what is effectively a commercial a commercial business, sort of the selling of cigars, right? Okay. Now, when it comes to social media, I have been I've been assured that the biggest social media presence for a cigar brand is with EGM. EGM cigars, which are sort of Dominican leaf.
Right.
EGM stands for Ettore Gabriel Morascinelli. That's the owner and founder, and he's a marketing expert. This is the biggest social media presence. Okay, right?
Right.
We make jokes about Rocky Patel cigars, for example, right? And I say jokes, I mean, in the sense that no one other than in the USA generally acknowledges Rocky Patel cigars to be smoke worthy. Can we say that?
Not even people in the
Rocky
United
Patel,
States say that.
lovely guy, by the way, lovely guy in person, right? Yeah, but I hear that Rocky Patel has $100 million in sales of cigars every year. I mean, that's nothing to sniff at.
No,
right.
That's real money.
So when we come to, for example, something that we're sort of familiar with and that we enjoy, sort of our team, like Habanos cigars out of Cuba, maybe Davidoff's, for example. I want to know what role social media actually plays in promoting quantitatively those cigars. How does social media affect their sales? And I don't know if that's an easy answer, but it's beginning to be a question in my head, because now I see all sorts of social media people, influencers, wannabe influencers, lifestyle smokers, etc., etc., etc. And I guess the answer from the industry would be that, well, it all helps to prop up the market, but I don't know how much of an additional boost it creates to the sales. So I don't know.
I think really it's just, if the people trust the people that are spouting off whatever BS they spout off, or they want that lifestyle, I think that's what it becomes. So like when we talk about Davidoff, like I'm going to try the Year of the Horse and I'll post it on my Instagram and whatever. If people go, I trust what he smokes, I'm going to try that as well. I think that's what it boils down to. Just because we, to your point earlier about, David coming on and showing the plaque so people see we have 100,000, whatever, from YouTube. I think if 50% of those people go, I like what they say, out of that 50%, you have probably another 10% that'll be like, I may try what they say. That 10%, you probably have 10% that do try what they say. So, but in your market, London is very small. So when you start talking about, oh, I tried this, I like that, and then you go to Tom Tom's or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, we sold out of those.
You say London is small.
Yeah.
But in terms of Cuban cigars, my understanding, and if someone correct me if I'm wrong, just type it here. I understand London accounts for roughly 6% of the global market in Cuban cigars.
Yeah, but I'm not just talking about Cuban. I'm talking about in general.
No, there's no other type of cigar.
Yeah, I got that. But the U.S. market's probably $1 billion in cigar sales. So we're probably the number one between, if you will, Cuban and non-Cuban.
There you go. Ali's saying that Rocky Patel could be a potential sponsor.
I think Rocky, he should.
Sponsor of the show. But the thing is this: then we would be sold out.
Yeah, we'd be, yeah. Well, yeah, but we're not, just so we're clear, we're not adverse to that. Anyway, but no, I have a feeling, listen, I've tried Rocky Patel cigars. And to your point, I'm underwhelmed. And so it's sort of like, okay, now, yes, Cuban cigars are wonderful, but there's also good non-Cuban cigars that are out there. And I think it's just the fan base of whoever. I know we pick on Amy, but even Jazz and the rest of these people, or Kirby or whoever it might be, except the guy
Kirby's another good example, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I only pick up on that is because Kirby has had a very good association, a very strong association with Davidoff of London.
Correct.
Right? Not Davidoff Cigars, Davidoff of London, specifically the cigar tobacconist on St. James's, run by Edward Sahakian and Eddie Sahakian, right? And I have noticed that, again, I can go wider than the London scene, but the reason I speak about the London scene is because it's very, very current for me. Yeah, but we can talk about European sort of like cigar smoking, influencing.
Right.
But in London, right, I've noticed that Kirby has made a dent in a good way, right? Okay, he makes very standardized. The word I'm going to use is standardized documentaries about smoking in various London cigar lounges, whether that be Davidoff of London or Number 6 Cavendish, etc. He makes very good, can I call them infomercials? I don't believe they have a character, but they don't have a very explosive character to them. They're not, there's nothing, it's a very buttery kind of delivery, okay, which is what's required, I guess. Understated, let's call it understated. But it has a significant effect because he is in demand to promote those merchants. Now, I don't see this at cigar level, at cigar brand level, other than for the Habanos industry. So the Habanos cigar industry, where you've got like 5 main influencers that are allowed to post stuff on behalf of Habanos specifically. So I'm just wondering how effective they are and how effective everyone else is, and whether as other influencers or social media people, perhaps they're not being noticed enough, or they're being overly noticed? I don't know the answer. I'm just wondering what is the quantitative.
As we spoke about the other day, Kirby produces a documentary. He's like, the YouTube of it, if you will. And that's perfect. So, but other shows.
If you want information, you watch a Kirby show. If you want information, you go to a Kirby show. You kind of know what you're going to get, right?
So, with Kirby, like I said, some of his stuff is great, some of it's not. But I think people like personalities. So where our show becomes different, it's more of a personality.
Well, I'll give you an example on that. Recently, and it was last week, I had the pleasure of smoking a couple of times with Aaron Sigmund in London.
Yep.
Right. Now, this man genuinely, and I can say this from first-hand experience, this man genuinely knows everything about everything. Okay. And I don't say that as a joke, and it's not a joke that he wants you to know that he knows everything about everything.
Well, that's true.
I'm talking about cigars, right?
Yeah.
He knows his cigars, he knows his art history, he knows his cigar history, he knows his cigar smoking. And when I say cigars, I don't just mean Cuban cigars or Honduran cigars or Dominican cigars. He knows a fucking lot. The guy has some, right? Some, like, really, if I was to pick someone who could really devastate the market with information and personality, is him.
Right.
Honestly, I kid you not. The guy's got personality. I sat with him for 3 hours for a smoke at Tom Tom, right? I think I got 10 minutes of words in.
That's about right.
And that's me, okay? But then again, I'm wise enough to shut up and listen.
Oh, my God. But here's the other thing. He won't scratch his balls before 9 a.m. So that's, that's a, whatchamacallit, that's a kudos to him. But he's somebody that I don't even think moves a market.
No, but the point being this is, I think that there are some fairly untapped, amazing reasons. I mean, he's written 23 books. Smoke on me. Hey, Amu, who...
Thank you, Amu. Amu just donated 100 AED to us. Thank you so much.
100
AED. There you go.
Dirham.
Thank you, Amu. There you go. Smoke on him. Well, I guess the Year of the Horse cigar will be on him today. Thank you very much, Amu. There you go.
There you go. So this is like a telethon.
I feel like
anyway, the Jerry Lewis telethon.
Well, it's definitely Jerry Lewis. So.
Who actually has fallen out of favor with me? I used to adore Jerry Lewis, but
he's dead.
No, I know he's dead, but he just became a cranky old man, to be very honest with you, and that doesn't sit well with me with how good he was as a young comedian. Anyway, that aside, what I was trying to say to you is that there are really, really cool people out there who know their stuff. Again, we speak about him quite a lot. AJ is one of them. AJ produces videos that, especially when he goes to Cuba or when he does in-lounge videos, they're fucking informative. There's a man who actually talks about the experience of smoking a cigar as best as can be done, because I don't see anyone else doing that kind of level of video. Right. People talk about, what shoes you're wearing, Cortez shoes, or what a beautiful tweed jacket. Yeah, let's talk about the fucking cigar, and let's talk about the context of the cigar, the history of the cigar. When we started doing these Habanos histories, maybe about 8-9 months ago, right? The whole point was to start this kind of little motion about knowing under the skin, under the wrapper of the cigar, going into the body of the cigar, going into the history of the cigar, the history of the brand, and talking about something in a way that genuinely upsells a cigar, not posing with a cigar half fucking naked lying on a car. Yeah, I mean, anyone could do that, right? Yeah, and Stephen, you've done that a million times.
Yeah, sure. I lay naked on my car all the time, smoking a cigar.
That has his place. It's lovely. It's great to watch, etc., etc. But it doesn't tell you anything about the cigar, right? Okay, it tells you, oh, I'm having a wonderful lifestyle. I've just put up a story on my Instagram, rubbing it in, if you pardon the expression, I'm getting a little bit pissed off. I don't know if you detect it. I'm getting a little bit pissed off with this frivolous, shallow, lowbrow cigar promotion. All these fucking idiots who knew fuck all about cigars 6 or 8 months ago. Suddenly sitting around posing as if they're lifestyle billionaires. They're not. And And you and the
Amy?
people and you
picking
know
on
who you
Amy?
are. I'm talking to the people right now. Yeah, you're a fucking bunch of
Okay.
misfits. Yeah, go and learn your cigars properly. Smoke in a decent way, and there's no harm. There's no harm in lifestyle stuff, right? But it's not just about lifestyle. It's about really knowing a product. Okay, if you're gonna play football, yeah, you're not playing football just to wear Nike shoes. You're playing football to score a fucking goal.
Right. But here's an interesting thing. When we had Amy on, I'm going to pick on Amy because she came on. And when we asked her certain specific things about cigars, she didn't know, which is okay because, she's still learning. But to your point, when Amy poses with her cigar, everything is, and to all the fans who commented during and after the show, everything is very suggestive. So, and I get that.
It is. And you can't say anything because people take offense straight away. But that
Yeah,
is what
we
it
don't
is.
care anymore.
Everyone has an observation. Everyone has got open eyes. Yeah, right. Okay. And it's very, very easy to know when people are using cigars, clothes, their bodies as accessories. You're more than welcome to. No one is saying don't do it. Yeah. But then don't pretend to be something that you are not. Yeah.
Correct.
The word, these words like expert. These are words like expert.
Right.
Everyone uses, I'm an expert on this. Expert used to have a meaning. I'm an aficionado or an aficionada. It had a meaning that is watered down because you dunderheads like to throw these words around willy-nilly. Yeah, okay? Right, okay? I've been smoking cigars for 35, 40 years, 1985, 80, 40 years. I've had an experience going with cigars. I wouldn't dare call myself an aficionado. I wouldn't dare.
Right.
I just wouldn't dare, right? Okay, yeah, because there's always a faster gunslinger out there, if you know what I mean, right? Someone can draw much, much fucking faster than you can.
But we, to an extent, we're aficionados, but we are not aficionados.
I'm not. I honestly, no, I'm not.
We're not like to, but like an
I'm
Usman.
not. You may be. So here's the etiquette. And you can argue with me about this, right? If I say, Stephen, you're a really intelligent man. Okay, that's one thing. If Stephen says, I'm a really intelligent man, it loses all meaning. It's what the other person perceives you as is far more important in this case. Yeah, right. Okay, so it's a vanity exercise. It's a selling exercise.
Right. And there goes Rizza. Now he's back. That's okay.
Sorry. You see, basically, I don't get any phone calls from anyone. Yeah, no one calls me. Okay, right?
So you're on the show.
But what they do is, for some reason, they find this fucking slot of my day. Yeah, which is where I am in the world. I'm in the UK. This is between midday and 1 o'clock, which is prime shoot Reza time.
Well, of course, because they want to be part of the show, but they can't. But I will say this about being an aficionado. I learn constantly. Now, when Usman is on, and they talked about the 27 Habana brands.
Usman was on. He was on. And he went off. Right. He found himself in that checkmated position where if he didn't go off, he would lose face.
Yep. And now, just so we're clear, David is going to come on in about 5 minutes and say hello, so you can show everybody the plaque that you wanted to show.
I want the plaque there.
Yeah, David will bring the plaque
on that side. Like that.
So okay, but so what I was going to say.
Until then, should we hold a vigil of silence?
For who?
For David. Well, Usman went off.
Usman, no, listen, Usman got upset because you got mad because
I didn't get mad. I thought it was quite fair. He said, "I'm going to go off." I said, "Okay, go off."
But my point is, Usman got upset.
It's like an on-air spat, but not really.
Wait, cigar analyst. The cigar Ali's going, who is David? All right. So for you people that don't know, David
is the man behind the scenes.
David's the guy who does all this stuff. Not me. And Jean-Marie now is coming on. So with JM.
Jean-Marie.
But I don't see him yet. Anyway, David, just so you know, David is whatchamacallit.
David does.
David is the guy who does all the graphics. David is one of the partners on 2OF Entertainment. If it wasn't for David, any of this stuff that we do, you wouldn't have.
Actually, can I be honest with you? People like Ali and people like AJ, people who regularly watch, will be quite impressed when David shows you the plaque.
And David will be on in a couple minutes. And there is JM. JM, how you doing?
Jean-Marie.
There he is, everybody.
Finally, some sanity. Sanity.
We don't know that yet. He hasn't started. And he's frozen. So the sanity is over. So there you have it. JM, how you doing?
Hi. Hi, Stephen. Hello. What's happening with those screens going? I can only see. Okay, fine. Hello, Riza. Hello,
Jean-Marie, how are
Stephen.
you?
Can we have 1 second? I'm fine, thank you very much. Can you have us?
Your internet's not working that well today, my friend.
You know what I really like about Jean-Marie? Jean-Marie basically crawled through a desert to get here every fucking time, right?
Literally.
Yeah? It doesn't matter whether the Wi-Fi connection's working, whether the headphones work. Jean-Marie is a dedicated person.
Here he is. All right. Anyway, Jean-Marie, can you hear us better now? I think that is a no.
But we can see him.
Yeah. But Ali, I hope I answered your question on who David is. David will be here in a minute. David just wants you to show the silver plaque we got from YouTube. That's the reason he's coming on. Other than that, there's no reason. David's not a cigar smoker. So David's the one who does our merch.
Yeah. What's that?
By the way, Stephen, I told you, you may have to conduct this show on, you may have to run it with David in the next 10 minutes because I've got to do a runner.
Well, as soon as David comes on, we'll say hello and we'll go and everyone will be happy. So there you go. JM, what's going on?
For one strange reason, when you talk, I have two screens opening.
You see, there's that is an aficionado. That's a dedicated aficionado, cigar smoker, and these are the people who've got something to say, and they'll come on, and it doesn't matter how bad the connection is, they'll say something of value, and they'll go away.
That's true. So,
hello,
James. Yeah, we can see you, big guy. You're breaking up a little bit, so.
Yeah, story of my life.
Are you in Dubai?
Yeah, I'm in Dubai. I had the pleasure of seeing Usman in Dubai.
We had the pleasure of seeing him on here for 5 minutes.
Yeah, and we need to hold a 1 second silence for Usman. Because he's not here. I thought he was going to be there, but he said that he had something or whatever to do.
No,
anyway,
Usman got mad. Usman got mad at Riza because Riza was smoking his Thai cigarette instead of a cigar, and so Usman got upset with him, and that was the reason that Usman was here and gone very quickly. So he'll be back next week. And Riza will be smoking cigars, hopefully.
Riza has got the English satirical, ironic attitude, which I suppose I have as well. And with such an attitude, there is no place for you to get upset or not accept. That's how it is. That's how they crack jokes. That's how they live. I personally, maybe I'm more thick-skinned than other people. But anyway, Riza, you said you were talking about the tobacconists, and you said something very true, which is hypocrisy. That you have a lot of hypocrisy happening. Is my understanding correct, or did I listen to what you said?
You're on the right track. The thing is this: I have a very critical eye. I like to see the good part of the industry, but one of the things is this industry of cigar smoking is a very glossy industry, and it's from time to time. I like to poke a little bit of fun, because I don't see any harm in seeing where the cracks are in the industry, right? Okay.
I agree with you 100%. I wonder if I'm not worse than you are. I like irony. I like satire. But there you go. You were talking at a certain point with Stephen whether those tobacconists were doing enough to promote cigars, irrelevant whether from which country the cigars are coming. Again, you're right. They're not. They're not. They are operating in islands of their own. Although they are very polite to each other and very diplomatic with each other, but they are still operating on their own. Each one wants to push his business, which is obviously understandable. They are in it, to make money. It's a business. They are not in it to save the world.
That's right.
And, that's how it is. Now, without naming anyone, you have mentioned a certain person, and I think he's the best marketeer among the tobacconists. The others are not marketeers. They are salespeople. There is nothing wrong with salespeople. There is nothing wrong with marketing people. But those groups where you are selling to people that you think are going to buy your cigars, that's all very good. But why don't you think a little bit larger? Why don't you think a little bit bigger? And again, Riza, I agree with you. There is no data. There is a lack of data for whomever to solve any problem. He has to have access to data. And we do not have, nobody has access. We don't know.
It's very opaque industry. It's very, I think the money-driven aspect of it, those who are really making money care about data, right? Yeah. But when it comes to the industry, the analysis of the industry, how big is it? How big are the sales? How much influence there is in terms of selling through social media. There's no figures out there. There's no even analysis out there. And sometimes I say these things because actually I do want an answer, and in saying them out loud, it translates into a little bit of an energy to find out what the fuck is going on, basically.
That's correct. And the one who has got data, and obviously they will not release it, is Hunter and Franca. They know what they're importing, they know what they are selling, they know exactly the size of the Cuban market. Let's stop hiding behind our fingers. And as far as the new world is concerned, I have no idea. I'm not into new world.
Gentlemen, on that note, I really don't want to interrupt you, but Jean-Marie, I'm going to be exiting the program early today. Stephen knows this. I have to run off to an appointment, so I'm just going to take your leave, but I do want you to carry on with Stephen, Jean-Marie.
Yeah, please, continue.
So it's going to be a one-to-one with Stephen. Let me put my hand.
Well, you can, if you don't, we can have a one-to-one next week, my friend, with everybody if you want. That's totally up to you. So but for the New World cigars, or if you will, non-Cubans, they do have statistics. And then if you talk to the social media people that run the outlets here, or even for Davidoff, they'll tell you what the conversion ratio is. So I think it's a little different. I think for the Cubans, because the Cuban cigars don't really have, for lack of a term, social media. They have people like us, and they have Hunters and Frank, or they have AJ Patel, or they have you. They have people that talk about them, where the non-Cuban cigars literally have social media pages, Instagram people. They have tons of things going on. So I think there's a big difference.
Fine. As I said, I know very little about New World cigars. I barely smoked less than I don't know if I smoked a handful. Maybe I smoked 3 non-Cuban cigars. So I'm ignorant about this side of the market. And as far as the Cuban, obviously, we don't have access to the data. And we are not into a forensic situation where we have to dig and find how many empty boxes are in the trash cans and count them. But there is a lot of work which needs to be done. And again, the situation in England with the hard, tough taxes and laws and regulations where you can't smoke this and you can't smoke that and you can't smoke here and you can't smoke there. Well, it's not making life any easier. As far as I'm concerned, if I go back to when I was a kiddo and think what took us to cigars, I don't know. Was it watching the invitations that my parents were doing? At that time, the fashion was cocktails. So you would invite people to your house for cocktails. And I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you have this experience. But it was a shame to invite anybody for dinner or lunch in a restaurant. Never mind that there wasn't many restaurants, but it was a shame. That meant that you were not at the level of welcoming people to your house.
Correct.
But again, that we are past that. I think at the moment, nobody invites anybody to their home.
I was going to say, it's a different world now. Nobody says come to the house. What they say, well, now it's very much, I'll meet you at a restaurant for lunch or dinner, to your point. But yes, when I was a kid back in the day, when you had people over. And I remember when we had people over, like my grandfather would light up his cigar and they would smoke. And that was it. And that was your social media back then. And that's how you got people to like, what are you smoking? What are you doing type of thing. But it's not like that anymore. Now everybody's trying to show, lifestyles of the rich and famous, so to speak. And so I think that's, to Riz's point, that's why you have the influencers that come out and go, look at me, look how wonderful I am, and look at this and look at that. And they all dress up and they all do this. But really, at the end of the day, we're talking about a leaf that someone wrapped, and hopefully they were skilled. And then when you light it, that you enjoy it. And that's really what it's all about, right? It's not about a lifestyle. It's not about, look, I have a 100-meter yacht. It's not that I live in a penthouse. It's not that I have the butt. It's all about the enjoyment of a cigar. And that's all it is. And I think people lose that today.
Yes, I agree. And for the life of me, I understand, but I don't agree with. Why do you need to wear a suit and a stupid hat,
right,
to smoke a cigar?
Well, if that's, if you're going somewhere,
I'm wearing a T-shirt.
Right.
What does it say? That I'm a pauper or I am a king? It doesn't say. I appreciate that clothes has influence on certain people, but again, I'm talking personally. I smoke a cigar for myself. I don't smoke a cigar to show Stephen that, look, Stephen, I'm smoking $100 million cigar. Why would Stephen care?
Right. Unless I'm smoking with you. Here's a question from the cigar analyst. The cigar analyst wants to know from you and from me, but I'll let you go first. What was the first cigar you guys ever smoked? What was the first cigar you ever smoked? Do you remember, JM?
Yeah, of course I do. And it is in my interview with Corby Ellison. The first cigar, well, I'll tell the story if the gentleman didn't watch the interview. At that time, the habit was that in the salon, you have a coffee table. And on the coffee table, you have either a large platter plate of silver plates where all types of cigarettes were present. And next to it, you had 1 or 2 boxes of cigars. That was the fashion at that time. Today, this is dead. Like, for example, when you sit for lunch or dinner and you have the cutlery laid out, and in the old days, you would have, I don't know what they call it in English, where you put your fork and knife on a rest, on a silver rest, which nobody uses anymore.
Nobody uses those anymore.
No, I still have some. I have no idea what to do with it anyway. So one of those days when there was nobody at home, I nicked one cigar. And this cigar was a Roma Corona.
Okay.
So I nicked the cigar, I hid it in my bedroom, and waited to see if anybody's going to notice that there is a cigar missing. Obviously, they are not in the business of counting cigars at that time. And then spring came. So I sat in my bedroom. I asked the kitchen to get me a hot chocolate. I put on the music. I opened the doors of the terrace. And I sat there. I opened my homework. Again, at that time, homeworks, you were supposed to use a fountain pen. So I had my fountain pen. I had my hot chocolate. I had an ashtray and the cigar. I watched the guests at home, how they were cutting the cigar. Because, I mean, nowhere on earth, I forgot to say I was 9 years old. I did cut the cigar. I lit the cigar. And I took 3 puffs. After the 3rd puff, the room started slowly revolving and turning. And I felt dizzy. I put the cigar in the hot chocolate. I put the fountain pen in my mouth, and I lost it. I stood up, threw myself on the bed, and passed out for, I don't know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I woke up, and the room was stinking, cigar aroma. So I went into the bathroom, took a towel, wetted the towel, and stood like an idiot in the middle of the room, waving the towel to get rid of the smell and the smoke, to go out of the door, of the open doors. Then my parents came. Luckily, they didn't walk into my bedroom. They don't have any reason to walk into my bedroom. So that was to answer the gentleman question. I was 9 years old, and it was a Roma Corona.
Very nice. That's a nice little story. Mine was when I graduated university. With my grandfather took us all out for scotch and cigars. So he gave me a Montecristo #1, and he's like, "There you go. You're a man now. You graduated university." So I had scotch, cigars, and a Montecristo, and that was it. So nothing that exciting.
My father was a cigarette smoker. He rarely, during invitations or whatever, he would light a cigar occasionally. But at that time, I don't know what you want to call it. I mean, people call it lifestyle. I don't call it lifestyle. I don't think it has anything got to do with lifestyle. Lifestyle is if you want to pose and wear your Armani suit and your whatever Stanton hat or whatever it's called, that's lifestyle. But if you want to sit in your environment and light a cigar and do whatever you're doing, whether you're working or listening to music or whatever, then this is not lifestyle. This is life. So for me, cigar smoking is not lifestyle. Cigar smoking is life. It's a very, very big difference between lifestyle and life. There's nothing wrong with lifestyle. You know, if this is what you like, please go ahead and indulge. But that's not for me. And the way that it is being portrayed with the suits and the neckties and the tuxedos and whatever, I think is wrong. Because what are you telling a 20-year-old or 18 years old or whatever? You are telling him that you have to wear a suit to smoke a cigar. He's not going to wear a suit to smoke a cigar. He doesn't have the money to wear a suit to smoke a cigar. It's not going to happen. Why don't you come down to our level and show us how to smoke a cigar as a normal person?
And that's what I think people are missing is, so here we joke, when we smoke cigars here, and today's a little chilly, but most of the time everyone's in a nice pair of shorts and a nice polo shirt. And that's how we enjoy cigars. I mean, unless I'm going to an event, like a black tie event or a dinner, that's different. Then, of course, I'll dress up. But for the most part, we smoke cigars very casually. And to your point, smoking a cigar isn't a lifestyle. It's something you enjoy doing. Driving a car, whether it's a whatever or a Ferrari, is not a lifestyle. You're driving a car. Wearing a watch so I can tell time. It's not a lifestyle. We become a society of everything has to be a lifestyle. So no, to your point, I agree with. Smoking a cigar. If you want to make it into a lifestyle, that's great. But at the end of the day, you're smoking a cigar just like the guy that's in a pair of shorts, just like the guy that's in a tuxedo. You're just smoking a cigar. And I think with the society the way it is today, you have to be famous. You have to be. So no, it's not. I think with us, and the reason that I think people like the show is everyone just casually dresses and smokes cigars. We're not trying to dress up. We're not trying to be all pretty and, wear fancy clothes. I mean, when we do, that's great, but it's not what the show's about. The show's just about cigars. So I think that's a big difference.
That's correct. And another thing is today you have a choice of I don't know how many hundreds, if not thousands, of cigars. So whether you are in the States and you walk into those cigar lounges or showrooms or shops or whatever they call them, I have seen the videos, and I wouldn't know what to do. I honestly wouldn't know. I mean, I don't know how many different types of cigars they've got, and I'm not even talking Cuban. And the Cuban are doing exactly the same, whereby each 5 minutes you have a limitada, an anniversario, a book, a newspaper, and it goes on and on and on. And then you have got the tobacconist that comes on air and says, "This is the new limitada for the Outer Hebrides, or from, I don't know, for the aliens from Jupiter." And it's so fantastic. Please, man, everything that is released is so fantastic. I mean, can you stop kidding yourself? I mean, you say it once, you say it twice, you say it 3 times, and then it starts getting boring. That all those cigars are fantastic. They are not. They are not fantastic. Without naming anybody, I was gifted a limitada. It's irrelevant of which year. And the gentleman was very excited about it, and he said, "You're gonna love this." I said, "Yeah, okay, fine." I had my own cigar. I put it back in the tube, and I lit and smoked the cigar he gave me, a limitada. It was one of the most awful cigars I smoked, a Cuban, and it was an awful cigar. So stop it. Just stop it. But again, maybe I'm an old git, and people don't have to agree with me. But that's my personality.
Right, but that's the whole perspective. Some people have given me cigars and go, "You're gonna love it," and I try it, and like 2 puffs into it, I'm like, "No, I don't." But you'll finish half of it to be polite. I have other people that will say, "I'm not sure if you're gonna like it," and they give you a cigar, and it's like, "Oh my God, now I've got to buy a box." So I think it just depends on what you're smoking and what your palate is. And I noticed over the last 100 years, my palate has changed. So the cigars that I might have liked 10 or 20 years ago, when I smoke them now, I don't enjoy them as much. And my palate's changing. I guess it's getting better for cigars. So I'm experimenting more with whether it's Cuban or non. And it's a better experience overall. So, I think as you mature as a cigar smoker, that's what you find out. But it's not a lifestyle, kids. It's just you smoke cigars. I mean, it's the lifestyle thing is a great ploy, and it's great for Cigar Official Magazine. It's great for Instagram and TikTok. But at the end of the day, it's a cigar. Just enjoy it. That's all it's about. It's not a lifestyle.
And then they insist. I mean, all those tobacconists, they sell liquor as well.
Right. Yeah.
And they insist of the pairing of the cigar. You are smoking a $200 cigar or a $20 cigar. it has got a certain aroma. It has got a certain flavor. You are drinking at the same time another liquor that has got a certain aroma, has got a certain flavor.
Right.
Do you honestly think that they are not fighting each other, the two aromas and flavors? Of course, they are fighting each other. And never mind, again, without naming, some marketing manager of a famous New World cigar has launched lately, again, another new cigar. And it said it has got flavors, aroma of vanilla and roasted hazelnut and this and that. And I wrote to him and I said, listen, if you add dried cherries, you can eat it as a Christmas pudding. I mean, how the hell are you getting? Okay, fine. I'm sorry, I don't get it. I get that it is earthy. I get that it is sharp. I get that it is bitter. I get that there might be a certain sweetness. But if you're going to start telling me that you have an aroma of this plant or this flower, now you are pushing it. I mean, you're making yourself ridiculous.
But you know, you got to sell something, whether it's scotch, wine, or cigars. They got to tell you nutty and this and that. Because if they just say, "Listen, it's dried leaves," and you're going to pay $100 a stick for it, people don't want to pay $100 a stick for dried leaves. But for nutty and fruity and woody and chocolatey, they'll pay $100 a stick for that. So you know how it goes. So
yeah, I know, but you are not helping to promote cigars. You are not helping it to promote cigars. The young people who want to smoke cigars, they, I mean, at most they would drink a beer. That's the preferred and cheapest drink. They are not gonna drink a malt Scottish whiskey of 20 years old. They are not gonna drink a Chateau Lafite 1954. They are going to drink the Heineken and whatever, the Budweiser and this and that. You are not helping.
That's true.
It's very simply because they don't sell beer, by the way.
Yeah, I agree.
So if you go a lounge and you want a beer, you know, it's not going to happen. And they only have whiskeys and rum. Well, actually, they don't even have wine.
Yeah. No, with my scotch, I'm a child. I either have water, cranberry juice, hot chocolate, or scotch. That's it. Those are the four things I go with my cigars. That's it. So.
I don't like whiskey. I never liked whiskey. Right. But I know I have been told that a true whiskey drinker should drop few drops of water in the whiskey.
Right, but that'll depend on the scotch that you're streaking. Like certain of an age, like a Glenfargus 12-year-old, you drop a little water in, like a thimble-headed water, and that will open up that scotch to make it wonderful. But if you drink a Glenfargus 18, 25, or 40, doesn't need it. A Macallan, if you drink anything under 18 years, it needs a little thumbnail of water, and that'll open up the flavor and the aroma and whatnot. But the rest of it, when you get over 20, 25-year-old scotch, should always be drank neat, and that's it. With a water bath, and that's
what I have been informed. I'm not a whiskey drinker.
Unfortunately, I am. And at the AA meetings, I tell people that. But anyway, Jay, it was good to see you. Thank you for coming in, just like popping in. That was awesome. Next week we're going to have Uris coming and telling us how to store cigars, and it's going to be a whole PhD level. So you may want to jump in on that because you two collectors. The rest of us can sit here and look pretty all day. So
I would love to listen to Urs. He has a lot of experience. He's a true gentleman, and he's a very nice person.
He is.
I have obviously a lot of experience in the subject matter of humidifying and humidors and whatnot. So it will be interesting to listen to what Urs has to say. And I hope he will break down whether you are putting your cigars for smoking or for collecting. It's a totally different way of having your cigars in the human. But we will see. We will see. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to pop in now.
Yeah, he sent me a screenshot of all the gauges that he uses. So I was saying earlier on the show, it's going to be a PhD level. So it's going to go from Cigar 101 to a PhD level on how to store your cigars. And if you're just starting to collect, this is going to be one of these shows. If you're starting to be a collector, you probably want to watch. So I think it's going to be very cool.
Well, I don't know if you want me on this show. Just a second. I'm very opinionated about storage.
All right.
I'll show you something.
All right, I'm doing a close-up so people can see it. I think we lost him. JM, you there? Oh,
yeah,
there we go.
Here.
Hold on. All right, there you go. Let's do a close-up of that. All right, what are we showing everybody?
What we are showing is a very complicated attitude towards humidifying.
Okay.
And people talk about RH, which is relative humidity. And we investigated. I can see you, Stephen.
I see you. Your internet's a little slow, but I see you and hear you.
Yeah,
You're all good.
yeah, okay, I see you now. So, everybody is very hot on RH, relative humidity.
Right.
And I think there is a big discussion on RM and not RH. And RM is relative moisture.
Okay.
But this is that's a very long subject, so we're not going to delve into that. That's why I was saying, are you sure you want me on Urs?
Listen, I think you and yours together, well, I think yours will do his thing, and then if you jump in at the end, if there's anything, or you can do one on the humidity. As we said, the channel's, for us to all have a good time, but if we can teach people stuff all day long, I think that's the important thing about the channel. When we have guests like you or yours or even AJ comes on or whatever, the average person does not get to speak to you, gentlemen. And the fact that we're lucky enough to have you come on the show and speak to the fans, that for them is a cigar education they can't even pay for. So we're always very lucky to have you guys on. So we always appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, Stephen. And look forward for next week.
So I do as well. Everybody, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you look at the QR code on the top, you can buy merch. Thank you for that, David. And we want to thank Amu. Amu, thank you for the donation today. That was very sweet of you. We appreciate it. As Riza said, thank you for making this part of the Jerry Lewis Telethon. And of course, we want to thank JM for showing up. Always a pleasure to have him. And next week, the whole crew will be back. And we'll have, as we said, Urs will be on to tell you how to keep your collection. And you want to listen to this guy because he's actually a world famous collector, as is JM. And we'll see everybody next Saturday. Have a great weekend, everybody. Cheers.
Bye.